Got another knife unboxing video this morning. This just arrived from White Mountain Knives. I know what's in there. Let's go ahead and open it up. I'm going to open it up with the Benchmade Osborne 943. This is just like the 940, except with a clip point blade instead of the reverse Tonto. And it's got some aftermarket brass scales on it. Let's open this up. Oh, it's got more tape on it. Tape on the sides. Okay. All right. Mar Knives. Mar Knives were previously produced in Japan, and they were pretty expensive. But the brand has undergone some changes. They're now manufactured in China and Taiwan, and they are using less premium materials, generally speaking, and they're much more affordable. But they still offer some of the same designs that made the company sort of famous, including the sear. This is something a little different. Let's have a look. Let's see, is this... Oh, yeah. Sealed at this end here. Instruction and care manual. Okay. No real goodies in there, just some paperwork. All right. Yeah, this is the Ultralight. Warning, extremely sharp. Okay, let's see if we can take that off without making a mess. Yeah. Barely fit that in the frame there. So this is... Let's see what they call this model. If it says anything on the box. AMK 4046, the Quicksilver Ultralight 5-inch. So it's a titanium framelock flipper with a D2 blade, and it's a 5-inch long blade. It has sort of a spear point, and it looks like a dagger profile, but it is only sharpened on one edge. It's not sharpened on this back edge, but it does have a significant swedge there that makes it look more like a dagger. The flipper tab becomes sort of a guard. Let's see here. A little bit stiff right out of the box. The clip is mounted to the bottom of the handle, which means it's very deep carry. It looks like that's reversible. In all the pictures I've seen of this, the logo was red. Just like the red logo there. I saw somebody else had a video online where they had ordered this knife off of Amazon, and when it arrived, it didn't look quite like the pictures, mainly because of this logo being black instead of red, and they worried that they might have gotten a counterfeit knife. I'm not really worried about that. I think it's just that it went through a design change subsequent to, like later after the photos had been made for publicity purposes. And it's not red anymore. I don't think White Mountain Knives would risk selling any counterfeit products. I think they are a legit distributor. So the look of this thing kind of resembles some old Balisong knives. Of course, it doesn't have a handle that butterflies open like that. It's just a regular flipper. And probably the most obvious comparison to make would be to Cold Steel's Tie-Lite, which is available in a few different sizes, including a great big 6-inch blade, which would be even bigger than this. These are not very expensive. I think the street price for these generally is about $125. Which is pretty good for a titanium framelock knife with a D2 blade. It feels like it's opening on washers. I'm not 100% sure that that's the case, but that's kind of feels like it to me. A little bit awkward to close. And you got to make sure you have enough room to swing that big blade out without hitting something. I'm mindful of the tripod here. It's got it's a little bit skeletonized, which, yeah, I suppose provides some weight relief, although it's not a heavy knife. But it also provides some texture, really. Some places for your fingers to grab on, fingertips to kind of fit into those holes. Now, until relatively recently, this knife would have been illegal for me to carry in Texas, which is where I live. The law for a long time here was that you couldn't carry a knife with a blade longer than 4 inches. And that has been amended, it's been changed in the past couple of years. The current law is no knives with a blade longer than 5.5 inches. So at 5 inches, this is legal to carry in my state. Laws vary, of course, by jurisdiction, so check out your own laws before you try and carry something like this. Don't want you to break the law, get in trouble, get your knife confiscated, or have other consequences. Now, it is a big knife, but it's really slender, which means it's really not going to be bad to carry. I'm going to slip it into my pocket right now. Yep, no issues. I suppose it might be possible. Yeah, I just did it. To grab that flipper tab on the front and hook it on the seam of your pocket and have it deploy like an Emerson wave, so that it's open as it comes out of your pocket. And yeah, I just did that. I'm not going to change my camera setup to show you, but first time, no problem. What would this knife be good for? Well, I mean, I think it's kind of tactical looking. I sure wouldn't want to be stabbed with it. So, as a self-defense weapon, I suppose, you know, if somebody was bothering you, threatening you, that might intimidate. Although it could also escalate the situation, right? So I'm not really advising people to use a knife in that way. Otherwise, I think it'd be a great letter opener. Sort of a, I don't know, not quite gentlemanly knife. I do have another gentleman's folder here. This is the Knife Center exclusive version of the Bestex Swordfish, which is black and white, G10 with S35V steel. This is a big knife. This is a 4-inch blade. Quite a bit smaller than the Almar. Here's that Benchmade that I used at the beginning, the 943. Here's a buck 110. Big knife. Not as big as this thing. Right? All metal stainless steel Endura. Pretty beat up. And Delica. Even more beat up. Okay. Here's a kind of a blinged out version of a Paramilitary 2 and a pair of 3. One more size comparison. Benchmade Griptilian, full-size Griptilian, and a bug out. So it's a little bit of an odd knife because the titanium is definitely a premium material, even though it's pretty plain here, right? It's not anodized, or it's not, textured or engraved. I mean, it does have some millwork on it. The knife steel there, the D2 is fine. I mean, D2 is acceptable. It's reasonably tough, holds an edge for a fairly long time. It's a little bit difficult to sharpen, but not too bad. Of course, the downside to D2 is that it is not quite stainless. And what does D2 look like when you use it? Well, this is a Civivi. What do they call this model? Well, it's a Terzuola designed It's called the Tamashi, I think. Anyway, I have used this blade for some food prep, and you can see the patina that has developed there on the D2 steel. Not terrible. It's definitely there. That is from cutting meat. That is staining from proteins. And, it's not like I used the knife and then left it dirty for a long time or anything. I washed it pretty much immediately and dried it. And that's just from, a few meals. So is that a problem? Well, not really. But is that likely to happen on this knife? Well, depends what you use it for, but yeah, I mean, if you use this to cut up steaks, which, I don't know if it would be very well suited to that task, but, or really anything. I mean, it's going to develop a patina, unless you keep it oiled and don't use it much. It's impressively light. I mean, it's lighter than, yeah, it's lighter than this PM2. I should have a scale out here, but I don't. It really wouldn't be anything to carry. The problem would just be when you open that thing up, it's pretty conspicuous. So that would be my hesitation about using this as an everyday carry knife. It's probably going to alarm some people, or at least it has that potential. It's kind of stiff there. That's my only real complaint so far about the knife itself. Is just that lock bar is pretty stiff, and it's because there's only a pretty small area that's been milled out here for relief. It's not terrible, but it it takes some effort. Yeah. All right, so there's the Mar Quicksilver, 5-inch long D2 blade, the titanium frame lock. All right.